Did it playing?
Nope.
I didn't think it was.
It's not even playing on YouTube right now.
It's not even playing, man. It's crazy. And we're live right now. So we'll just remove that. That was so bad. I had that planned out too, and I had that planned out and it didn't even work. It sucks. I'll show you too. I'll put it up.
Don't you have it loaded up on their channel? I mean,
I have it up on StreamYard for share.
That's really weird that they didn't play it for you. That's really weird. That's why I stopped
I don't know why I didn't
paying for an account with them, because I don't think they're that good, to be honest with you.
They take up a lot of bandwidth. I like them. It gives me, lets me do a lot of stuff, but it does take up a lot of my internet bandwidth when I start it. So,
yeah, I will criticize them. I have a lot of things to say about them.
I'm going back to Christian. Still looks great. That was a super cool poster. Looking at that.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bruce Campbell.
We are live.
Yeah.
And welcome to another episode of Fancy with Greg.
Welcome, everybody. If you don't know what's going on, we had a little malfunction there.
I'm your co-host from Pop Culture Minefield. And our guest is Andrew Hawkins.
Thank you. Yes.
In Search of Darkness.
That's it. Happy to be.
I like anything with the words "in search of" at the beginning. I'm like, yes, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got plenty to go around. In Search of Darkness and Search of Tomorrow on the way. Great stuff.
Yep. I'm looking forward to all of them. And that's what we'll get into here. First, we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about 80s horror. Right now, In Search of Darkness Part 2, for anybody who wants it, is on sale till Valentine's Day midnight. And Andrew, tell them a little bit about what this package entails.
Yeah, of course. Well, we got a flash sale going on for In Search of Darkness Part 2. We wanted to make it available for everyone who didn't get the opportunity to get it when we had it for sale initially on release in October, which ended on Halloween last year. This is a bundle that we're offering to everyone who wants to get a Blu-ray copy of In Search of Darkness Part 2, along with our 3 main key art posters, which are awesome. A couple of soundtracks, including the score from Weary Pines and the soundtrack put together by New Retrowave, an awesome enamel pin, and just the really great opportunity to become a part of our community. We've got the 80s Horror Discord, which we do weekly events, and we just want to, keep bringing 80s horror fans together and doing it. But yeah, it's available now, and if you didn't get a chance to get the first In Search of Darkness, that's also available as an add-on. So we've got that going until midnight on.
Put it up on screen. I just shared it so you can share the video or screen.
Yep. I'll share the screen here.
Yep, there it is. 80shorrordoc.com.
There you go.
I got to allow your back end stuff there. But yeah, there it is. There's your timer. 5 days, 8 hours, 40 minutes, 32 seconds.
And I got to tell you guys. I got it.
I would play the video, but you'll get struck. I'm telling you, they'll do a cross.
No. They gave me the video. I have it on my channel. No.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't attempt to play it through the way my internet's going right now because it's running slow. To be honest, right now we're under a severe snowstorm. That's probably why
we're snowing here too.
Yeah.
We've had school out for 3 days. So
that's about the same here. So, but I got it the first go around, the part 2, with all the goodies. It is well worth the price. It is a great documentary. Check out my review here on the channel, everybody, and go to 80s Horror Doc and pick it out, buy it. It's worth it. The posters are amazing. The little enamel pin is great. I love that. And I love that it's got Kelly Maroney's cheerleader outfit from Night of the Comet on it. It's
Rebels.
So amazing. I love that. And the Blu-ray is just perfect. So you guys, it's 4.5 hours of greatness. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and along with the Blu-ray, you get the digital copies as well.
Yes,
so
you get those.
You got your options. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, just that somebody took the time to do something about the 80s, because Greg knows how I feel about 80s movies. Mm-hmm. I've said it time and time again. This isn't just an opinion. The best sci-fi and the best horror came out of the 80s.
Yeah. And that was our whole purpose was, we looked at our favorite films and one of our favorite decades. And a lot of us are, really fans of the best movies that came from this period, but we also grew up in the video store. We grew up, as kids who would go and rent a couple of movies and get a pizza and just, relish in that stuff for the weekend. And we wanted to kind of take that, just the entire experience of getting that sort of curated, here are a ton of movies that came out this year. Here are the people that made the movies. Here are people that write about the movies. And they're going to tell you all of their stories. They're going to tell you insights and memories and all this stuff. And we're going to move on to the next year, do more of it. We're going to have segments to break it up. And that's
at a perfect timing, because we've lost so many already. And it's like, got to get this down on film. And you guys did it. 2 movies. Amazing.
Yeah. And we're thankful, for some of those contributors and some of those stars that were with us before they passed away. We had Stuart Gordon and Larry Cohen. And
I wrote a piece about Stuart Gordon for a magazine, and just an amazing guy. And now he's gone. We lost him.
Yeah, but to be able to, sit down and have a good interview with him about his films and some of his favorite movies and what he thought about the impact of horror and how much, his work means to us, and to be able to bring that to people and to show that and share that with everyone. I mean, that's a huge deal. So we all look back at him, and we definitely regard him and Larry Cohen as well, and all the others that we've lost as some of the all-time greats. Yeah. And that's the thing is, putting this all together in a retrospective celebration kind of way is exactly what our goal was, because, we look at these films and we love them. And some people watch the documentaries and they say, oh man, now I've got a list of movies I got to see. I've never heard about any of these before. Yeah. And every time we hear that, it's awesome.
Especially, and that's one of the things. The second one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I support sequels. For the fact that not just sequels, but even remakes, even though I'm not a big fan of watching them, they serve a great purpose in introducing the original.
Sure. Because, there's always going to be the one that set the bar, the one that started it all. And, it's funny, we talk about sequels, and just recently we got this feedback from an amazing review saying In Search of Darkness Part 2 is like the Evil Dead 2 to the Evil Dead series. And just to be able to bring a sequel to a documentary out in this day and age, I mean, no one's doing this. You've got some mega docs like Never Sleep Again, the Freddy documentary. You've got Crystal Lake Memories, the Jason documentary. And we've just taken all these movies from different years and just thrown them all in, gotten the best people to talk about them. And that's the whole fun of it. But it's something like, I look at the new Evil Dead from Fede Alvarez and I love it. But, that came out and a ton of people got introduced to the original with Bruce.
Yes.
And it's great. It's so good.
Yep. And Martin here, he says, I got to go. I will rewatch in a couple hours. Greetings, Gary. And thank you, Andrew, for giving us these documentaries. You're welcome. Well, that's your department to say you're welcome. But
thank you, Martin.
Have a good night, Martin.
Take it easy, Martin. I'll see you later. But it's just, and I'm sure that's, you had stuff that you wished was in the first documentary that got left out. So doing a sequel only makes sense. Plus, there's so much more that you didn't even get a chance to do. And I tell people, really, the 80s horror started in the 70s with 2 little films that are connected, which is Black Christmas and Halloween.
Oh, man. Black Christmas is so great. Watch it every single holiday season.
Inspired Halloween. And Carpenter, and then Carpenter nailed it with Halloween, and it's like those are 2 great 80s movies that came out in the 70s. And you know what I mean, because they're done in the 80s style.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Black Christmas was, so iconic and so instrumental in the slasher genre. And it's from the director of A Christmas Story. You got to love that. It's got just awesome performances. Margot Kidder's great in that. Everyone is, John Saxon before he wound up as Nancy's dad.
Olivia Hussey's in it too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she's
Romeo
in that.
And Juliet, and she played Mary in Jesus of Nazareth miniseries. Great
Wound
actor.
up in a Turkey Shoot with Steve Railsback. I mean,
and she's in Psycho 4.
Yep. And It, the It miniseries right there. Oh yeah. But those movies, I'm right there with you. And talking about John Carpenter, the fact that we've been able to have him in the documentaries talking about his films, I mean, that's something that we're so proud to be able to do, is bring the stories straight from the source.
Yes.
And just like you're talking about, the first one, In Search of Darkness, it's all the top shelf stuff. It's all the stuff that, everyone's the most familiar with. But for In Search of Darkness Part 2, that's when we really started to get into the grit and the grime and the international and some of those deeper cut movies that, the more hardcore of us are all about always getting into.
Yeah, that's when I was watching that, and I said it, that when I watched the second one, I had a way much more movies on my list that I had never seen that I now want to see. After watching the first one, there's like maybe 4 or 5, because you guys, like you said, you went into like the ones that most people know, and then on the second one, man, you guys went in deep, like the deep dive, like David Weiner says.
I can hardly wait to see this now, dude.
Yeah. And man, there's some
it.
crazy movies that I was like, really? I've never seen that. I gotta see that.
I'm curious if there's anything, because I consider myself not just a cinephile, but I am a horror connoisseur. And I differentiate with people when they go horror. I said, well, when you say horror, do you mean gore or slasher, or do you mean horror? And I differentiate those 3 things. I like all 3 of them, but for different reasons. And but with what you're doing, you can include all 3. And I love that.
That's exactly it. We can bring in all the subgenres. We can talk cannibal movies 1 minute and then go straight into haunted house movies the next. We can talk about stuff that never got a proper English release.
What was your favorite ghost or haunted house horror film of the 80s?
Oh man, I'll say
I'm putting a test to you, man.
Yeah, the reason that I'm bringing up something outside of the 80s is because I'm giving you an idea of where my origin of haunted house movies really came from. I'm a huge fan of Legend of Hell House with Roddy McDowall.
That great film. I love that
one of my
film.
All-time favorites.
It was based off an actual research. It was based off actual research. God, what a good movie.
Oh, yeah. And off of a great book by Richard Matheson. I mean, so great. You pair that up with The Haunting, and, you just see the differences. But on its own, I mean, it's just so damn good. When it comes to haunted house movies from the 80s, I mean, I got to go into like some Fulci territory, If you've ever seen City of the Living Dead, it's kind of a haunted town, sort of a little bit of a Lovecraftian kind of influence in it, with the naming convention, the Arkham and all that stuff. But yeah, those supernatural movies that were being thrown around from Italy were some of my all-time favorites. And when it comes down to it, Fulci, I mean, he just knocked it out of the park with that one. And every time I watch it, it always just has this sense of dread and unease. And then it's got, all of the undead coming back and teleporting everywhere and just totally unpredictable if you've never seen it before.
Yeah, and when I
saw Beyond, it kind of has that a little bit too.
I saw it under a different title.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that Gates of Hell?
Yeah, I saw it at Gates of Hell. And so I'm like, wait, what film? And then went, oh, that movie. Yeah.
I had that old VHS box. Paragon. Yeah.
I look forward to that. But my 2 favorite, I have 2 very favorite for different reasons. I like Ghost Story.
Yes. And Alice Krieg. That is so good. And the effects from Dick Smith are amazing.
For a British lady, she's got some amazing titties, I gotta tell you. But Alison Krieg's so amazing.
Kills it in that movie.
Oh yeah, she does. And she actually creeped me out. I'm like, in that scene when she turns and has that giant maw, and I'm like, oh. But then the other one is more comical, which was House.
Yes.
Oh, I love House.
With William Catt.
Yeah.
I mean, I showed that to my daughter. She was 9. My daughter was 9. It became one of her favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, I love this movie. And I went, I knew you would.
Bull from Night Court as Big Ben. Yeah. All of the, again, great effects in the movie, the amazing creature suits, all the stuff popping out of the doors and the entire void when you go through the
mirror
medicine cabinet. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, there's a ton of things. One of my favorite things about House, I've actually been to the House, and it's really close to Monrovia, Pasadena area.
Really?
One of those, spots that, for fans of movies who want to go and hunt down locations, looks exactly like it did when it
I
was
didn't start
shot
doing
back
that
in
till-
81 or whatever. Yeah.
I got older and I didn't want to travel. So I go to Google. Yes, I use Google Street to go visit film locations.
See, we were at a horror convention. We just went to a buddy's house and, took off to go get some pizza. And he's like, "Hey, you want to go see the house from House?" We're like, "Yeah,
God,
hell
that's
yeah."
so freaking cool,
Yeah,
dude.
that's cool.
What was
I would
yours,
love to
Greg?
see
What was your
that.
favorite ghost story from the 80s? Do you even like
I
haunted
was,
house movies?
yeah, I would say I don't really have one because I geared more towards like the slashers of the 80s was like my genre. Like my brother, like I've talked about, my older brother, he introduced me to that, and that's how I went through the Freddys, the Jasons, the Michael Myers. That was like my introduction, and so like I always had more of like a slasher.
Evil Dead is not a
Evil
slasher
Dead.
film, and you love
Yes,
Evil
Evil
Dead,
Dead.
and it's about
Evil
spirits.
Dead.
So
Yes.
your favorite.
I guess you could say Evil Dead is my favorite.
Jesus Christ!
movie.
I have to help you with everything.
I would eventually have got to Evil Dead. All right.
Can you
But
tell
yeah,
I like
Evil
Greg?
Dead, or I don't know if you could consider The Shining a house movie. Would you consider
It
Shining?
is. It is.
Haunted
It's a ghost story.
Hotel,
Yeah,
all
I would have
that
to
great
say
stuff. Yeah.
Shining is like my favorite of all time.
And it really is. That's right.
Love
It did
it.
come out in 1980.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, one of those late 70s. That's an 80s movie.
And it didn't
Released
scare me,
just
but
at
it
the right
creeped
time.
me out. It
And the
creeped
Changeling.
the hell out.
Changeling
The
is so
Changeling's
good.
another classic. I introduced my
With
daughter to
George C.
that one,
Scott.
and she loves it. Oh yeah.
Every
What
time
the
that
hell do
wheelchair
you want
turns,
from me?
man, so great.
Ma'am, I'd like to dig in your house.
Gotta love George C. Scott. Yeah,
Yeah,
George C.
he's
so
Scott
good
is
in
the
that.
shit.
when he throws the ball.
Well, I got one more for you guys. If you've ever seen it, it's called The Nesting. Really good haunted house movie.
Good film.
never seen
Yeah,
that
yeah. Dilapidated house, few stories tall. Woman gets in there, starts realizing there's some spirit activities. Little plot development, kind of similar. Would make a good double feature with Ghost Story. I think. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
worth
Check that
checking
one
out. The Nesting.
There goes another one from my list.
It's on Tubi
Yeah.
right now for free.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And that's the thing too, is I love talking about different genres of horror, and the same thing with other genres of film. I mean, just film in general, because you get going on, all right, let's talk about some of our favorites, let's talk about some of the ones that we love, and while we're in conversation, we start pinging different thoughts of, oh man, I remember when I saw this, I want to talk about that, and just being able to share that kind of stuff. Everyone be on the same page and just riffing and having a good time.
And there's one thing for sure. You can't really love slasher and not know who Tom Savini is.
Oh, I know. Tom Savini is great.
Yeah.
And he's in the second documentary, like he likes
That's
to say.
right.
And
because I saw that in the trailer. He's like, I'm in this one.
Yeah. And there's like a little segment where like I love that you guys did this. It's like little mini documentaries and inside the documentary with Tom Savini, Robert Englund, and Leanna Quigley and Nancy Allen. And those are so great. And Tom Savini, I love how he talked about how he was like always thought less was more, but he's known for like the splatter king and showing all this. I loved it. He was so great to listen to.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what we wanted to do was, in the way that we put together In Search of Darkness, we had everything set up year by year. So you get your introduction, then you go right into 1980. And we do all the 80 films that we're going for until we get to the next segment, until we move on to 81. And then after 81, a dividing segment, 82, segment, 83, and so on. But when we put together In Search of Darkness Part 2, we had so many great additions to the cast that we wanted to feature an entire segment on Tom Savini. We wanted to do an entire segment on Linnea Quigley, an entire segment on Nancy Allen. I mean, being able to have them talk about their careers and talk about their influences and what got them going into making some of the most iconic movies we've ever seen, to be able to have that and to tell that story, it was just great. Getting to, just listen to them go off. It's so much fun.
It is.
Yeah,
and Stony One Kenobi here. He said Beetlejuice when he was talking about haunted house movies. Beetlejuice.
Yep.
What's
so great.
What are your favorite Tom Savini film? What is it, Greg and Andrew? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just, go right off the top and say my favorite goes right along with my favorite Ramiro. It's Day of the Dead.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, Day of the
great
Dead. I
film.
mean, that's him doing some of his best work of his entire career. I got a soft spot for Dawn of the Dead. I love it. It's one of my favorite, hold up movies and just filled with awesome characters, Ken Free, everybody. Yeah, getting to see Tom Savini do innovative stuff has always been like some of my favorite, moments of his. Like what he
Yeah.
did in Dawn of the Dead, the exploding head, and the same thing in Maniac. He's right there staring down Joe Spinell on the hood of his car, getting
Yep.
blasted into oblivion. It's just
That
Yes.
shot was amazing.
oh man.
And
the
but my
stories behind
personal
it.
favorite is Creepshow. I
Creep
love
Show is
Creepshow.
yeah.
so
Creep
good.
Show. Yeah.
Yes.
The work he did in that just blew me away. What was yours, Greg?
I would have to say Dawn of the Dead. I always,
Hell yeah.
even when he shows up as the biker in the movie, was just
Yeah, Blades.
and all the work he does, and like when that
the
machete
stunts.
and just the way
Yeah.
that he did that effect and everything, it was so I love that. And on Day of the Dead too, and I loved hearing how they use spoiled meat for the scene when they tore the guy apart. And he didn't realize it at the time, so I really think that really shows some of his greatest work in those, and of course Creepshow. I mean, who could forget that, or even the Jason movies as well. So
The thing in the
Friday
crate-
and Friday
Yeah.
4. Oh my god,
Freddy 4, with all the mask and
so
everything.
great. Final chapter is just him doing awesome
Mhm.
work, and
but
they had to get him back on it, and
it was that-
great.
That
Yeah.
creature he created for What's in the Crate, just
Fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell
Man,
yeah.
because I when I first started, I wanted to do prosthetic makeup, and I wanted to do monster makeup, and my God, Rick Baker, Tom Savini were the two guys that inspired me.
Yeah.
And just great stuff. And when I saw Creepshow, I'm like, well, why can't I do that? Just a sad life. But he's done, God, his career. And he really is, in my opinion, the Rick Baker of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Rick Baker of horror is Rick Baker to me. I mean, the guy basically set the bar with American Werewolf in London and started the entire thing about getting awards for makeup effects
his
and
feet in horror.
Everything.
He never immersed himself, in my opinion.
That's true. And eventually later in his career, I mean, his shop, was amazing. They worked on so many incredible films, but Rick Baker, he was all about doing, all jobs across all genres and just making a huge impact on making effects look amazing.
Yeah, and whereas Savini, he was immersed deep in horror.
Oh yeah.
And Rick
Godfather
Baker just
of Gore, all
dabbled in
that
it.
stuff. Yeah.
No, I mean, when I say he dabbled in it, it was not like he wasn't amazing. Anything he touched looks freaking great. And if not for Rick Baker, we might not have gotten Rob Bottin.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And, same thing goes with Roger Corman, because with Rob Bottin starting off in the Roger Corman camp, doing movies with
Piranha.
AIP and all those guys. Yeah. And Humanoids from the Deep. That's one that we cover
Yeah.
in Search of Darkness Part 2.
Yeah.
You get some great stories in there. Also from effects creator Steve Johnson, who worked on a ton of stuff. Ghostbusters, Species. Also worked on one of my all-time favorites, Fright Night. I'll always say that's one of the best vampire movies ever made.
That is my absolute favorite vampire film ever made.
So damn good.
It's all time. It's like the top. That and Lost Boys, in my opinion, man.
Yeah.
Are like the top
Welcome
two
to
vampire
Fright
movies
Night.
ever made.
For real.
Right.
What a great line.
It's amazing. Now I got a question, which I'm taking it from you guys. You guys posted it on, I think, your Twitter once. What character from a horror flick would you like to see get a spin-off movie? And I remember one of the ones you guys said, but Gary, will start with you, and then we'll go to Andrew. If you had a chance to make a spin-off movie from a side character in a horror movie, who would it be?
Well, we just said it. Evil Ed from Fright Night. I've always been pissed we never got the proper sequel to that film. And I would watch anything with Evil Ed. That guy cracked me up, except the porn that he did.
Well, for Fright Night and for 976 Evil, you
Yeah.
know,
I love
definitely did
that
some
movie,
great
dude.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
love that
love
movie.
it.
Great
Gotta-
film.
Gotta love them.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, it's crazy because to me, I think one of my favorite characters who got his own spin-off thing, but it's still tied into, you know, the entire series is Ash. Ash got his whole Ash versus Evil Dead adventure, and I absolutely loved it. And for me, I'd love to see that, you know, with some other characters. I'm trying to think of, you know, which one of the Dream Warriors from Nightmare 3 I would love to see the most, even though like a Terran film would be badass all on her own. But I'm thinking maybe Kincaid. You know, maybe there's a possibility that he
Yeah.
could have survived. You know, we don't know if the heart attack
Yeah.
killed him in Nightmare
Yeah.
4. We assume that's the case because of what everybody says, but there's always that possibility. You know, get Kincaid to go out and have a couple of movies on his own and maybe restart or rekindle, you know, what could be next for some good Nightmare movies and maybe try to get, you know, Robert Englund back in the suit.
Yeah, because you know there can't just be one Freddy Krueger. There's got to be a bunch of those psychos that are killing kids.
Yeah.
Well, to bring back the original Freddy, I mean, everyone wants it. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's the
Yeah,
same
they
thing
need to bring
too
him back.
with, there's one thing in the documentaries that I absolutely love. And this is Kane Hodder talking about getting back behind the mask. And one of my favorite things he said is, I still got some killing left in me. So,
Oh, man,
yeah.
That's the
I would
equivalent of
absolutely love
Stallone
to
saying, I still got stuff in the basement. That's,
I would love to
Kane
see
Hodder.
Kane Hodder return as Jason, though, but that would be amazing. I got one
I'm
for you.
telling
That
you.
I've always, yeah, that would be amazing. One I've always thought about, and I know it's sort of played for laughs a little bit, but it always like piqued my interest. Like, what could this guy have did? Was Reverend Sayer from Halloween 4 when he picks
Oh,
up
man.
Dr. Loomis. I know it's sort of played for laughs, like he's this crazy drunk guy who's just like saying these things, but could you imagine like making it a period piece movie like set in the 50s about this young priest who just became a priest, and maybe his dad sold like Bibles when he was a kid, so he got that ingrained in him, and like he stumbles upon this like really ancient evil and it just drives him slowly insane till he becomes this drunken old man that we see in
I love
Halloween
it.
4. Man, I think that would be a great horror movie spinoff character right there. I think you could do something with that.
You know, talking about a character like that, if you've seen the 1988 version of The Blob, at the
Yes.
very end,
Love that movie.
Love
you've
that
got the priest holding up the blob in the jar. I want to see what happens next.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
that
I want to see.
roadside prophet type church.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, I'm telling
that
you,
was a great
middle of the
scene.
Dust Bowl, just you know,
Mhm.
about
That
to
could be a great
unleash
movie
on the
there.
world. Yeah,
Yeah, I would love
There's
The
so
that.
much,
Halloween
you
4
know.
was with the little girl, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
the
the
first
first
one
one
with her.
Jamie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yep,
like that
yep.
one. I like that one. I
Yeah.
was trying to remember which one you were talking about. But yeah, with the blob in the jar. I mean, what a great ending.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, we
Now
did.
talking about the Halloween series, I'm just thinking about Tom Atkins in Halloween 3. Give him
I love Tom
the Dr.
Atkins.
Chalice movie. Let's
Yes.
do something after the
Do
night
it.
that he started screaming "Stop it" into the phone.
Yes,
The
I would
night he
love to see
saved
like
Halloween.
that picked up like years later now that he see what the aftermath of everything that went down and
I'm
where
telling
he's
you,
at.
35
man.
years later, yeah. Halloween 3 Part 2. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think Tom Atkins could do that. I think he could pull that off.
That
yeah.
dude is, I don't know what it is about that dude, man. I mean, in The Fog, he was great.
Yeah.
I just love him as
Night
an
of the
actor.
Creeps.
Oh my
he's
God,
just one
Night
of
of
those
the Creeps.
all-time
I love
great
Night of-
guys.
What a great
Creeps.
movie.
Thrill me.
Yeah.
And you look at him and you go, why are women interested in this guy? Because he's kind of ugly, but God, he can act. I love him. I think he's great, man.
Yeah.
I got it misconstrued as a kid once, though, because when I saw The Howling, I thought the dude playing her husband was Tom Atkins at first, because they look sort of alike, and I'm like,
Yep.
is that the same guy? And then, of course, Tom Atkins has like a great scene in Lethal Weapon, which is not
Mhm.
horror.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're a bad guy, then it's horror.
Gotta love him, you know. Lethal Weapon. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing too. You know, they don't make them like they did in the '80s, and it's for multiple
No.
reasons. Just you know, every
People were making
element
movies. It was like
of
somebody
the
said,
movies.
"That's it. I'm letting my pants out. I'm just gonna be what I am." And that was Hollywood in the 80s. And we started seeing all this great shit coming out. Some of it was garbage. We know it was garbage, but there was some really good stuff. And it was original. It was innovative. And special effects started really being a focus thanks to Star Wars in 77. There was a focus. And so you started seeing that coming up. And that included physical effects, prosthetics, just wow. Wow, as Christopher Hawkins would say.
I mean, seriously, going down the discussion of Christopher Walken, gotta love Dead Zone. You got, so many innovative directors and so many incredible effects teams. You already got me thinking about Cronenberg and everything that he did in Scanners, another great head explosion.
He is on my list of top 4 directors who actually had an impact on me.
Oh, hell yeah. And, for so many of us too. I mean, his movies, they're incredible. And talking about even horror sci-fi, The Fly with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. I mean, that movie.
He was the king of body horror.
Absolutely. Yeah. He could do it, like nobody else. And he always had that incredible directing style where it was really serious, really intense, and it always delivered and paid off. And you left the movie just like, damn, that was
that vampire movie he did with Marilyn Chambers. I forget the name of it.
Oh yeah, the one he did.
I have them all
before Shivers. That was
Shivers is absolutely my favorite by him. I love The Brood. I own every film. Oh my god! That final scene. Holy shit! When I'm like, the whole
reveal and oh man, when you get to that bit with everything that's built up to that, it's just all shock.
Yeah, Oliver Reed sacrifices himself so he can get in. The dad can get in there to save the girl, and it's like, oh my god, what a movie!
Makes me think about some video game endings where you finally have that final showdown, and then you got to get the fuck out right before you're completely done. It's like we're on the clock, we gotta go. But
and I remember talking about Cronenberg as a kid. Nobody knew who the hell I was talking about. I was like, David Cronenberg. And then I would say Scanners, and they go, "Oh, the movie with the head," and I'm like, "You're a heathen."
It's so much all you know.
But you've had so many directors that made an impact during that decade that were just given money to do it, and there was experimenting. There was the ability to really flesh out a story without having to be completely contained into a marketable box. And that's what I love looking back at, is just hearing about this crazy stuff, like Mel Brooks, of all people, getting money together to be able to let Cronenberg make The Fly. All the people who are just like, hey, you guys, your effects teams, you got the money, go do it. Figure out how to knock out these death scenes and make it entertaining. And it's
and there was so much really good art that was delivered in some of this, and I mean, Videodrome, again, Cronenberg, and another favorite vampire, second favorite of the 80s was Lost Boys.
Hell yeah.
And best soundtrack of a film from the 80s, in my opinion.
Yeah, gotta love it. So many great songs, great covers, but just the whole vibe of the movie. I mean, we've got Alex Winter talking to us about making the film and telling us, we were treated like rock stars when we were making Lost Boys, and we were getting in trouble every night. But, the end result is one of the most iconic movies ever made.
Stays with you and has one of the best final lines in the movie, of a movie. Only problem with Santa Clara, what's the name of it? The town, I forget what they changed it to. Santa something, and he uses all the goddamn vampires. They're trying to keep Grandpa out of it, and he fucking knew the whole time. That was a sequel we wanted.
Yes.
Grandpa killing vampires.
There you go. Man. There's a spin-off movie that the grandfather killing vampires, moving there and find that'd be a great one.
Big time.
See?
And another, now I can't talk about any horror or about horror in general without bringing up my second favorite film of all time. Yeah. Number 1, Blade Runner. Second film, The Thing by John Carpenter.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Love The Thing.
An all-time classic, all-time great. Yeah. We've got John Carpenter.
Practical effects that were so good.
Talking about Childs. Those practical effects from Rob Bottin and a little bit from Stan Winston in there. I mean, God, just unmatched, you know? Every single time I watch it, I always have a great time.
Yep. And
just so good.
And it, you know, he
So
pulled
good.
the gore was so realistic. And of course, this is, of course, why Ebert and whatever his name was, Siskel and Ebert didn't like it. And I'm like,
Siskel and Ebert.
It was so realistic. I knew Roger Ebert. You know, I made fun of him to his face once, or to his ass, because he was in the stairs in front of me. And but anyway, you know, the thing was just this film that really got into your head, because this is like right at the beginning of AIDS, you know, and he was consciously aware of that, doing it. That, you know, this is right at the onset of AIDS. So I'm making this movie that's talking about something that impacts people the same way AIDS does. And and fucking E.T. ruined it. E.T. ruined Blade Runner and The Thing. You know, it's like took all their money and let's have a friendly alien with a light up finger. Yee! I fucking hate that movie. I hate Spielberg.
Gary hates E.T. He hates E.T.
I hate that movie. Fuck E.T. Stupid. I'm Jesus. See my heart.
You know, the back-to-back release, everyone all loving and just feeling good, and then you walk out of ET and straight into The Thing. Yeah, that's gonna give the kids some nightmares for a few weeks for sure. I mean, that's it too. You know, there's even that whole discussion about seeing these movies for like the kids who were growing up at that time when they were coming out, and how it affected them, and how, you know, they stuck with those memories and gave them nightmares, the whole kinder trauma thing and all that stuff. You get down the list with some of these, and it's actually, you know, leading into the discussion of what really effective horror is, and how certain people can see certain things, like, you know, a certain scene in a Freddy or a Jason movie and be like, holy shit, I've never forgotten that since I saw it from the very first time I was a kid. Or, oh my God, the first time I ever saw the Deadites, you know? Yeah.
Man, the scene in Freddy 3, like I've talked to you, I put it out a million times, because it's with the puppet, the marionette, the kid.
Yep.
Oh my, I cannot watch that scene to this day. I will close my eyes, and I don't care if I'm called a baby. I saw that when I was really young, because like I said, my brother, he loved the Freddy movies, and that scared the crap out of me. And just like my veins, it's right now, just thinking about it, I cannot watch that scene. I just cannot. I can't do it. But I love it. I love it.
Two films that had that impact on me as a kid was what's that movie? Phantasm.
Yes.
Oh, I love
Phantasm. Alien. I closed my eyes. I closed my eyes at the face hugger scene in the theater.
Oh man, yeah, right when it jumps on John Hurt.
I'm like, I was 18 before I finally saw it, and I'm like, oh, you're such a puss. Why'd you close your eyes? Awesome. Another movie that freaked me out as a kid was The Omen, with the head cutting scene. And
David Warner, one of the best decapitations ever in a movie.
Yeah, and people were, I just saw
good.
People talking about how phony that was. And I'm like, it wasn't phony to me as a kid. That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But Phantasm too, with the spear. Oh my God, and those little Jawa people. Oh my God. That gave me nightmares. Trilogy of Terror with the little doll.
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me as a kid.
The Zuni fetish doll running around going, no, with the knife and everything, going after Karen Black.
I would not even see
I love it.
2 movies because the trailers scared me as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
so good.
That goddamn It's Alive trailer. There's something wrong with the Davises, baby. It's alive. And you hear that little, that's not a baby crying. It's like, the little 2 pig paw. I was just like, I don't want to see this. Turn it off. Change the channel.
I love it. All the scenes when they get underground and the sewers and everything. It reminds me of one that always freaked me out. I don't know if you've seen the old movie Alligator. With
that just popped into my head when you said that.
Yeah, because you know, you got the guy who goes down into the sewers right in the beginning. He's been a jerk the entire first 15 minutes of the movie. All of a sudden, this little flashlight cuts across, and then chomp, done. So great. Classic.
Oh my God.
Classic right there.
I love all these movies, man.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
trying to remember who was the star of
Love
that
talking this
movie.
stuff.
Was that Robert Forster that was in
It
that?
was. Yeah, it was Forrester. That's right.
And God, I haven't seen that movie in years, and yeah, that freaked me out. That whole movie freaked me out. There are some movies from the 70s that I saw that I was traumatized by.
Yeah.
But I was like I was one of those sensitive kids. It's like I have a big heart, and so I was alone in my house one night. My dad had to go help paint another apartment, so I'm alone in the house, and I had to keep him with an eye shot. I had our window open so I could see him where he's painting, and I'm watching like classic 1930s Dracula.
Oh, hell
And I don't know if you guys have ever done this where you sit there and you're like, boy, I sure like Dracula. He's my favorite character. He was here. I'd help him. I'd be his best friend. Bargaining with the imaginary horror monster.
Yeah.
You guys ever do that? Because like I did it all the time.
No.
That creature from the Black Lagoon would kill me because we'd be friends.
Just bargaining with the inevitable. You're
All the
about to
time.
get,
You're hiding in my
consumed by
house.
fear. There's any ghosts around here? We're cool. Just saying.
That was me as a kid, man. Really good. But like actually for TV though, you brought it up earlier, is Night Stalker was one of those things that really holy shit. The zombie one. Absolutely, I flew off the sofa and ran behind it when he's got to put salt in its mouth.
Love those
And
cool
he's
check movies.
on top of it. He's trying to get the sun and sew its lips shut. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, let me tell you about one. You're making me think about some amazing TV horror. Again, talking about Tom Savini again. Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh,
one of those.
Oh yeah,
great anthology shows. I mean, I grew up on that stuff. I grew up on that along with Monsters and of course Tales from the Crypt and some of the all-time best. All the greats. You ever
watch the classic British horror anthologies?
Oh yeah. Talking about like Amicus and the anthology. The original British Tales from the Crypt is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. Put that on. So great. But
Asylum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of those episodes of Tales from the Dark Side that Tom Savini directed and did the effects for, called Inside the Closet.
Oh, I remember that one. Yes.
So great. When you get the monster reveal, that was one of those moments. Yeah. Always sticks with me. Love it. Always enjoy talking to him.
Got you out of the seat, did it?
Hands, absolutely. So great. Just, and then, running through the house, seeing like the door to the basement and all that stuff. And just, nope. None of that. But yeah, talking to him about that character, that creature, and that episode of that show is always great. He's one of those cool guys who's just the best to go and chat with at conventions. Hands down, just so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the list of people. I meet a lot of celebs in the work that I do, but I don't always get to meet the ones I want to, and he's on that list of people I want to meet.
Well, we're hoping that conventions get back to being safe and everyone can go and enjoy them. There's a few that are active right now, and there's a safety protocol and all that stuff.
They're never safe. They're never safe. I've been a guest so many times. I was at Wizard in New Orleans. I was a guest, one of their guests, and I got there, and it was my first con since the 90s because I used to do Star Trek art. When I was still in the Army, I was still doing artwork. And so I was invited to a lot of Star Trek cons, and I hated them because those guys that ran security dressed as Klingons just annoyed me. Always talking in Klingon. I'm like, shut up, stop yelling, And so Wizard's like, oh, we won't have any Klingon security. No, you'll be okay. I went, oh, okay, I'm coming. So I went down to New Orleans. Amazing experience. Met so many people. I got to meet Stan Lee, and I worked with Lou Ferrigno, and I got to hang out with him a little bit while I was down there because I did a comic book and movie with him.
All-time greatest Hulk ever.
Oh, love Lou Ferrigno. Because I did this joke that he liked, a cartoon that had Lou Ferrigno sitting there, and some guy walks up and goes, Lou, I just saw this movie called The Artist. It's a modern silent movie shot with the old cameras and film stock. Isn't that amazing? They made a modern silent movie. And Lou looks at me and goes, every movie is silent to me, you idiot. And he read that, and he was like laughing in front of me. I'm like, okay, good. He didn't write LOL. I saw him laugh.
Yeah.
But
Great guy.
but I walked away from that convention with the creeping crud, and
That'll happen. Yeah.
That was really when my OCD kicked in with using hand sanitizer. I always have hand sanitizer close by. If anybody touches me, I hand sanitize. I have wipes, and it's like I don't want to offend anybody, but if you touch me, I'm going to clean what you just touched, and because that was horrible. So cons have never been safe. You always get the con crud is what they call it. It's not just the flu. It's like God only knows what disease was floating around on some nasty guy that wipes his ass and doesn't know how to clean after he goes to the bathroom. I'll touch you. I'll touch your food too. Hey, here you go. You know, it's like, good God. But one day we'll get back to that kind of safe.
Get to meet our favorite folks, and that's one of the things that we do for the In Search of Darkness community and the In Search of Tomorrow community is we bring people together for our watch parties and our live streams. We bring celebrities in. We do exclusive Q&As for everyone who's bought a copy of the
documentary. You do a lot of panels and stuff like that when you say Q&As. Yeah, that's great.
And that's what we give to our members of the community. We give them the opportunity
to come up here
to ask the questions. Yeah,
we have right in Springfield, Missouri. We have Vision Con. It's a great con, and you should. Oh my God, they would lose their shit here if you guys came.
Well, gentlemen, I am getting hit up, and I have had an absolute blast hanging out and chatting with you guys. This has been a great time.
Been fun. It's been fun. Yes,
it was okay. It was all right.
Awesome for me. I'll tell you, I've had the best time tonight.
It was awesome. I had a good time. I love talking to you, Andrew. I got to have you back on more often.
I'm glad I met you. I'm going to hit you up on Twitter.
Yeah, Gary, do. Absolutely.
Yes.
Always happy to chat.
And I like you. I would love, that's what one thing I really do want to do with my channel is, since we can't go to cons, I like to get people like, I had David Weiner on here. I had Adam Marcus. I had Gary.
Yeah.
I have you. I want to get more. Man. I want to get like all the people you guys have been talking to. I just got to build my brand so I can get to that level. That's what I want to do.
Man. Next time we have a chance to talk, I'll tell you some Bruce Campbell stories because I know him.
Yeah. He's got some good ones. He's got some funny ones. Thank you, Andrew, for coming on.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for inviting me on here, Greg. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this to play real quick before you leave. So let's see if I can get this to work, because I really been wanting to share this. So let's see if I can get it to share. Tell me if this plays, guys.
Eyes open, ready to go.
I hear no audio.
Seeing a little bit of stills here. This is the new 80s video.
Still glitching,
I'm going to share it. I'll share it on my screen.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm going to share mine with audio, so it'll play. Here, drop yours down, and we'll get mine.
It's still not working. My internet. I hate the snow when it comes in.
Here,
it
just
slows
put me
down.
on. Put my screen on.
There you go. I'm doing it. Quick. I'm doing it, man.
You're doing it. You doing it? Do it. Do it. Do it.
What happened to it? It was there. Then
I don't know. It was there, and then it. There we go. You ready?
Okay. And then you can go, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, it's 80s night, and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's 80s night. Oh what a night. Oh what a night. Oh yes, it's 80s night, and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's 80s night. Oh what a night. Oh what a night.
It's the best.
No,
Love it.
Yes. Next time, maybe when my internet isn't so bad, I will play that because my show is.
If you need stuff played, I do it because I've got great internet.
Yes. I have slow.
And I have
internet.
Baby Yoda.
Well, Greg, I'm always happy to come back around.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Have it whenever you're free, and I'll get with you too, because I've interviewed Gary for my little mini documentary I'm doing. I interviewed Gary. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get Tom, and then we'll see who else we can get from there.
Awesome. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All right, gents.
Good night, man.
Have a good night.
That was fun. Thanks for inviting me to that.
Yeah. We're still live. I mean, we can go on for a little bit if you want, or if you're ready to go.
Oh, are people still watching? Oh, hold my pants up. No, we can call it a night.
You ready to call it a night?
I love doing stuff with you.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like you've become one of my friends now, so I like doing your show so we can actually hang out and talk.
That's good. I'm glad. I think you're a friend too, man. You've become my friend as well. That's why I love having you on, man.
It's even a real friendship because I know your name.
Yeah. I love you because sometimes, man, you can pick up the conversation where I can't, because sometimes I can get a little quiet, and I'm working on that.
Well, the important thing for me is just it's like playing chess. I'm not the best chess player, but I'm a really good chess player. I've won a lot of games against really good chess players. And the whole idea is to be so many moves ahead. And it's sort of the way I work when I'm doing this. I should be at least 3 to 4 moves ahead, when I'm doing an interview.
Yes. And
what you need to do is basically just start forming ideas of what you really want to talk about and what engages you. What engages you clearly will engage other people. Yes. I look at myself as your typical nerd. So I know that a lot of the things I want to talk about, there's going to be a good portion of the people that's watching or listening or reading when I'm writing that will go, oh, I've seen that. I like that too. And it allows you to connect with your audience as well as with your guest. And you did really well with this. Don't you ever come down on yourself.
Oh, no. I know I'm good.
Man.
That's why I like to have people on you and that, to pick up where I can't pick up. You know what I mean? That's why I like having you guys on. I enjoy that.
Well, you're a good interviewer, so and you're always easy to talk to. I always enjoy talking with you, even though secretly, I think you're back there rolling your eyes at some of the shit I say. God, you want to roll your eyes, but you're too polite.
No, I do. I love it. I love it because it comes out of nowhere.
The stuff I say
that? And they're like, yes.
Yeah, when I talk about somebody's titties, it's like, oh my God, I saw you lose it. You're like, oh my God.
I couldn't help but laugh, but it was so
But it's
great.
true because Allison Craig showed her titties in that movie, and I was young, and I'm like, those are nice. I know what I'm talking about. Those are nice.
Gary Cassell.
I was a young man when that came out, and I was like,
I know we're not supposed to talk about stuff like that nowadays, but that's one of the great part about those movies was you got to see titties. I mean, I know
80s movies were full of them.
Yeah, it was
there's always your gratuitous titty scene in comedies. And in fact, they even made fun of it in movies making fun of the 80s.
Yeah.
Where there's always the gratuitous bouncy boobies.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. In the documentary too, they interview Leanna Quigley, and we all know what she's really doing for in those movies. But when you hear her story, you realize it was so much more than just her taking her clothes off. How she took control of her career and everything. I loved that section of the documentary. It was so good to hear her speak.
I can hardly wait to see it.
Oh man, it was so good. It's only $69.99 for people out there. So
yeah, and PJ Souls, who came up through horror movies of the 70s and comedies, she was in Stripes, she was in Halloween.
Yes.
She was one of those that we were always like, whenever you saw she was going to be in a movie, you're like, I might get to see her boobs. That was something we got excited about as young guys. We were like, I might get some titties. I mean,
I know it's not PC, and I know some of those women were mistreated back then. I get it.
Well, that's true, and that's where it's wrong.
Yeah, that's where it is wrong. I totally get that.
Anytime
but it was always fun to see
anytime a woman's disparaged, disrespected, abused in films, behind the scenes, it's unacceptable.
Yes.
But men, gratuitous butt scenes. You didn't get to see wieners back in the 80s. It was almost always butt scene. And for women, it was to see their hoo-haws, The two things: girls wanted to see butts, and guys wanted to see boobs.
Yeah,
and that's a fact.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know, and that's why a lot of those raunchy 80s comedies were so big, because you knew you were going to get gratuitous boob and butt shots.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, and like I said though, when you hear Leanna Quigley, you understand. I mean, not to say it's okay that you can feel better about yourself when you see her naked, but her career and what she did to take control was amazing.
Every human being, I'm not going to say just women, every human being should be at the head of their destiny. They should be in charge of their life.
Yes.
They shouldn't be dictated to, and even when it comes to work in your job, you should be respected in your job by your peers and your managers. They shouldn't be talking to you like you work for them. They should be talking to you as somebody that they work with and are supervising you. It's their job to supervise. It's not their job to treat you like crap. And men and women alike, and because there are abuses all over the place with that. And I'm never surprised to learn about that shit with Hollywood, because they've been getting away with behind the closed doors since the start of film. The casting couch thing, that's been around for a long damn time, and that is absolutely an abuse of authority and power.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't blame a woman for having gone through it in order to get a job. I do blame anybody who did that to an actor or actress.
Mm-hmm.
And male actors got it too. Even though I've heard comedians like go after guys like, I'm sorry, I can't feel sorry for a guy. It's like, I can, especially when you start hearing about these kids.
Yeah. That's true. It's 100%. I totally agree with you, man. I agree 100%.
But anyway, I am looking forward to seeing this documentary. I love that first one.
It is really good. The second one, man, you're good. You probably know more than I do, because you're much more to like that film than I am. Because like I said, I know all the basics, and it's because of these documentaries and getting to know all you guys people that has broadened my horoscope, as I shall say, into other things that
horoscope.
I like that. Just came up with that, into movies that I maybe didn't have seen. So I like that. Like I said, I absolutely love learning about film. And don't get me wrong, I know I've been talking like a lot about horror lately, but that's not my favorite genre, because I like all genres. I don't like to pick a favorite.
You like superhero movies? Like me?
I don't like to pick a favorite. Yeah, genre. I just say genre. That's my favorite.
But the fact is talking about these kinds of film is fun.
Exactly.
I enjoy doing it. Having an opinion about films is okay. I love hearing it. My debate with Doomcock.
About Blade Runner. Is he a replicant or is he not?
And whether he wants to listen or not, it doesn't matter. I'm okay. I love Doomcock. I watch him all the time. I don't agree with him even remotely. I think that he ignores important issues. And dismisses things that shouldn't be dismissed. And I think he also kind of misunderstands a few things here and there. Like when I'm talking screenwriting and storytelling, that's why Doc and I get along so well. I am talking about. He knows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about story structure and how themes work in film. And I'm talking that stuff with Doomcock, and he strikes me as an actor. Somebody who understands film from an actor's perspective, whereas they don't focus on story structure. They don't focus on themes. They focus on performance. And so him, he feels the way he does, and it's an emotional reaction. Because like if this was Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson killed Luke Skywalker. He said that his film is great, so therefore he's the judge of his own film. Ridley's, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. You wouldn't feel that way about a Star Wars film. Why are you feeling that way about Blade Runner?
But you guys, you came.
We get along. I love him. Yeah. You don't understand. Yeah. I really love Doomcock. I look forward to every video that comes out, and to have been on his show, being invited to be on his show.
I know. I was so jealous that you got to be on there.
I'm like, holy shit. And Keith got on there. It's really funny. It's like, the minute I realized that all we were going to talk about was Blade Runner, I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be a Gary centric episode. Keith's not going to have much of an opinion on this at all. I felt bad for Keith, and I'm like, he's just sort of sitting there like, just listening to me talk and argue with Doomcock about a couple of things, or talk about shit behind the scenes, because few people know as much about the behind the scenes stuff as I do. There are people out there I know more than me, or as much, if not more. And I know more. Gary Willoughby, I know he knows more than me on Blade Runner. And Charlie Deslarica, Jesus, I know he knows more than me. But I am respected in the community because I know a lot. And and I like throwing that knowledge around every once in a while because it helps introduce people to it. And I think that's part of the importance of what like your show is. It's like you're introducing people that maybe didn't know so much about horror. Mm-hmm. And by filling them in, you're actually increasing their interest.
Yes. That's what I love, man.
I think that's a true cinephile wants to bring other people to the conversation.
Exactly.
Not just to talk, but to be interested in, and I like to engage other people in not just talking with me, but enjoying what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm getting ready to watch a movie tonight after we're done here that I never planned on ever watching because I did that Room discussion, the movie The Room. I'm going to watch the movie about the making of it.
The Disaster Artist.
The Disaster Artist. I've never wanted to watch it. I just was like, I've watched documentaries, bios, all sorts of stuff. Why do I want to watch this movie? It's one person's idea, of what happened. And it's not the book. It's not the book. It's the director writer's interpretation, and but they convinced me to watch it, so I'm going to watch it tonight.
I've heard it. I actually have not seen it myself, but I've heard it's really good. I've been meaning to watch it myself. Been so busy lately.
It's like I made a joke once a few years back. I said Steven Seagal would have been Tommy Wiseau if he didn't know martial arts.
Probably that's true.
And it was a joke not about The Room. It was a joke about Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal.
Because I'm like going, that guy. He cannot act. No. It's like I remember an early story about him where he's like, I knew Sir Laurence Olivier, and I'm like, that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean you can act. You should make movies, my boy, is supposedly what Olivier said to him. And I'm like going, sure.
Right.
That's what was said. But I'm sure Olivier said that to you.
Yeah, you should make movies. But like I said, man, I love having you on. I love doing this. I love horror movies. I love sci-fi movies. I love genre movies, superhero movies. That's what.
Yeah, like every single thing that's in the image that I can see right now are movies I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's like amazing. I found this. It's got like just about every 80s, but there's a few that aren't 80s that I saw that like.
Trick or Treat's more modern. I like Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I like it too.
Let's see.
Elvira, of course. Got the Critters.
Well, what year did Silence of the Lambs come out? Was that in the late 80s or was that early 90s? I can't remember.
Movie? What was it again?
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that was the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The Fly, though, that came out in the 80s. I see Evil Dead up there.
Pumpkinhead, Evil Dead, Jaws. Jaws was the 70s.
Yep. I love Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws is a great flick. I love that movie.
And everybody loves Elvira.
Of course, yeah. I would absolutely love to.
Can't see her face very well, but I can see the most important aspect she has.
But that's Elvira, even though you can't see the face.
Yeah, it's like I used to joke. I said, once I found the internet, the first thing I began looking for was Elvira porn. It's not true, but
yeah,
it sounds true.
On that note, we'll close out the show, and then if you want to talk any before you go, we will.
No, I'm ready to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten.
Okay.
So
all right. So thank you everybody for showing up. Martin, Stony One, everybody out there, appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew, for coming on. I appreciate that. Gary, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Man, I'm hoping this builds because sometimes it feels like I take one step forward and it's 2 steps back with me.
It's just being regular. That's all it's about.
So, I've been trying to do my best, trying to get my views up because I'm really struggling with my views lately. So
Google ads.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So, but thank you, and with that, we will end the show.
Later, guys. Later, Greg.